I
that
just
haven't logged on
wondering
this
if you're
morning.
joining the swap meeting. See you now. Oh.
Have you finished interrupting me, Ray?
No, it's just ringing, trying to understand again.
Good man. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Greg Eldred from sunny Melbourne this morning. Good to see you all. We're minus a few. I just had an apology from Chris Empson. He can't hear when he logs onto the meeting, so I don't know whether it's an IT issue or his hearing issue, but he's not with us this morning. But anyway, we move forward. I'd like to make welcome Keith Shaw from Dallas. Keith, thank you very much for joining us this morning. We're looking forward to hearing from you. I do apologise that our numbers are less than what we expected this morning, so apologies for that. I make mention of Charlie Nicholls in retirement, our past president and founder of Global Swap. Good morning, Charlie.
Morning.
At this stage, we go through the group with a introduction and a thought for the day. So I'm going to start the process by anointing Rhonda as the thought judge. And we're going to start with Alex Eason this morning. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning.
Morning, Alex.
Hi, I'm in Christchurch, New Zealand.
Yep.
Wonderful spot. And my thought for the day is wet wood doesn't burn, so make sure you're not wet.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah.
I like that. All right.
And you're next. And I didn't realise how much slower, Anne, so congratulations. Have we lost Anne?
No.
Okay, we'll come back to Anne. Charlie Nicholls, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Anne's there.
Anne's there.
Oh,
Is
I'm
she?
here. I didn't,
Oh.
you know what? I'm not hearing you very clearly for some reason.
And you need to focus. You need to focus.
I think
All
it's
right.
Greg that needs to focus.
You know
That's
what?
your-
We have a significant percentage of U.S. people here. You know, I mean, we're
It is
not
global
this little.
swap after all. Global.
Well, look, I
I'm
won't
Ann
go
Carlson.
into my routine and ask whether they're Donald Trump voters. So it's your thought for the day.
Okay. Well, I'm Ann Carlson, and winning your second half is my passion. And I've got a John Maxwell quote that's a favorite. Live a life that demands a supernatural explanation.
Ooh, you are famous. Thank you, Anne. Charlie Nicholls.
Well, good morning, swappers, and any future swappers that might be out there this morning. My name is Charlie Nicholls. At the moment, living on the Gold Coast, but mainly live in Laos, and we'll be back there sometime next month, I believe, or at the end of the month or something rather. My thought for this morning is one of my favourites, and that is, in controversial moments, my perception's rather fine. I can see both points of view, the one that's wrong and mine.
Very good,
Amazing.
Charlie. Thank you. Harry.
Good morning. Good morning, all. My name is Harry, and I am lucky enough to be a licensed real estate agent in Queensland, Australia. And my thought of the day is, what you get by achieving your goals is not as important as what you become by achieving your goals. And that's by Zig Ziglar, one of my favorite.
Very true, Harry. Thank you for that. Keith, would you have a thought to share with us this morning?
Why, sure. First, thanks for allowing me to join you today. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I'm an executive coach, speaker, and trainer. And my thought for today, because I'm focused on doing new things, starting new challenges, doing things to make things better. And my saying is, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start before you can ever be great. And I'm not
Yes.
sure if it's Les Brown or Zig Ziglar, but one of them.
Very good. Thank you very much, Keith. Thank you.
Mhm.
Raymond.
Ray Pape. I run a contract cleaning business in Melbourne. And my thought for the day is, it's better to build a bridge than a wall. Thank you.
So true, so true.
Tell Biden that.
I'm seeing that we've got.
That's
I'm seeing that we've got Chrissy on iPhone, but she's not in communicadio. What are you seeing there, Rhonda?
I've just asked her to unmute.
Okay, Susan's on mute and Yvonne's on mute.
Who do you want next? Yvonne's having
okay,
a
Susan.
problem. So Yvonne, if you want to put your thought of the day in the chat for me, please.
Okay, Susan, good morning.
Yes, actually, good afternoon.
Oh.
It's now 10 to 3.
Yesterday.
From sunny Arizona. So I've done my work for the day. Okay, so I work for Maricopa County Public Health in administration. Love my job, and hello from Arizona to Dallas. So I think that my thought for the day works in really well with our guest speaker, because my quote is, it's a Jim Rohn quote: either you run the day or the day runs you.
How true that one is. Yes, very true.
And Yvonne has given it her in the chat, and on behalf of Yvonne, chance favours the prepared mind.
I have heard that one before. Very good. All right, Greg Eldred from Executive Business Solutions down here in Melbourne. Good to see you all. You're looking very happy there, Harry, which is great. My thought for the day: don't wait until you reach your goal to be proud of yourself. Be proud of every single step you take. Is that similar to yours, Harry?
Yvonne's in.
Everyone's in.
Yeah. Oh, good on you, Yvonne.
Hello, Yvonne.
Hello, can I tell you what it was? I hadn't ticked that it was, or pressed the button that said it was okay to record. So it wouldn't let me in until I said it was okay.
Oh, that's pretty standard, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but I don't know. I didn't do it this morning.
Yeah, okay. Do you want to share your thought, even though Rhonda has read it out for you?
Oh, that's yes. Chance favours the prepared mind.
Oh, it's all in the delivery, Yvonne. All in the delivery.
Love it.
Now, Rhonda, have we had you as yet?
No. Oh, you're not going to forget me today.
Well, I'm trying to. Sorry.
Who else haven't we had? Alex, have we had? Oh, Alex was first, wasn't he?
I've got Chrissy here, iPhone Chrissy, on mute. Who would
Chrissy,
that
are
be?
you able to come in and give us your thought of the day? Doesn't look like.
Maybe if you want to go now, Rhonda.
Okay, my thought is, I am Rhonda Buttery, and I have two main areas of business apart from all my volunteer work. And one is providing the best nutritional supplements on the planet that are made from food instead of petrochemical derivatives. And the other is selling and teaching people how to use the best astrology software on the planet. And that with everything else keeps me quite busy, especially taming some of you guys. And my thought of the day is, you can't go back and make a better start. You can only go on and make a better finish.
So true.
Excellent.
So true. So with your stars, Rhonda, would you be able to align my life to some normality, or what would you do?
Oh, I think it'd be a bit of a challenge to arrange your life to something normal.
I didn't think you'd be able to help. But on that note, Rhonda, can you please give us your selection for thought of the day?
Well, of course, you made it very hard today. There's quite a few.
Greg, did you give a thought?
I did. Weren't you listening?
Yes, he did. He did.
Don't wait
it was actually, it was actually quite a good one, but it didn't win.
Yeah.
And there were some really quite good ones today. But I think I have to give it to Charlie today, because everybody was so similar. The one with a bit of humour really tickled my fancy.
Oh, thank you for that. Would you like me to repeat it?
Absolutely.
Could you?
In controversial moments, my perception's rather fine. I can see both points of view, the one that's wrong and mine.
That is such a typical Charlie Nicholls quote. Congratulations there, Charlie.
Yeah.
Your certificate, your prize and everything will be sent to you. Good. Okay, moving right along. We don't have a 5-minute speaker scheduled this morning. So what I'm going to do is, Ray, I'm going to call on you to share a few words, and I'll preface it by saying that I worked under you as president of Explorer Swap on your committee, and you were very much a mentor of mine. Not that I'd admit that publicly, but you are, and you have been. I'm just wondering whether you could share what your thoughts and what your goals were, or how you achieved Club of the Year at Explorer Swap. So stepping in as president of that club and taking it to Club of the Year. Anything you'd like to share?
I think one of the most important things was to make everyone inclusive. So it just wasn't me, the famous person, it was everybody involved in the committee. They all had their talents. And that was the thing, to be able to get those people together and move we had to set a goal, and we all moved together in the one direction. And I can remember I went to the Gold Coast. Peter Campbell was the president of Gold Coast Swap. And he ran a good meeting. And at the end of the meeting, he told me a bit of a porky or a lie. He said he had like 200 members or whatever it was, which was not true. Peter wasn't being truthful. So I came back to town, to Melbourne, and I said, well, Gold Coast Swap's got 200 members or 180 members or whatever it was. We've got to get our backsides into gear. So let's get going. And off we went. But I think I had some good, in the contract cleaning industry, we had 400 part-time cleaners working for us. So I always met with the management of the people that we cleaned for, and one of them was the Windsor Hotel. And I told the Windsor Hotel that I'd love to run meetings there and so forth. So they were very supportive. So we had this very impressive hotel, and Greg was president. We were able to get a room there at the Windsor Hotel, Melbourne, and we ran weekly meetings there. And I think that was a good thing to help. But prior to that, Explorer Swap won Club of the Year. But it was all on a roll. And I think the era was right for Swap then. There was a lot of young people in sales and everyone, and off they went. But the most important thing I said before, it was all inclusive. I had a chance of having President of the Year or Club of the Year. I chose Club of the Year because we'd all worked together. It wasn't just the president, it was the club. And by doing Club of the Year, we were all inclusive and we all got the award. So that's basically what it was.
Now, look,
It's a good era.
I acknowledge you because what I saw in going through that era was you ran Swap very much the same way you ran your business. You were a strong leader, but very inclusive. You weren't domineering or reactionary. So I give you a compliment. You were very, very good as a president. So congratulations and thanks for sharing.
Yeah, a good era.
I'd like to call on young Charlie. Sorry? What was that, Ray?
It was a good era.
I missed that. Okay,
and it's something.
Charlie.
It's something.
It was
another 20 years. We're all in the nursing home. We can reminisce how good it was.
Well, that's why I'm moving on to Charlie. Charlie,
I'm already in the
you're-
nursing home.
I was going to say you're in the nursing home, but you've entered the nursing home with some great achievements in your life. And I'm just wondering whether you'd share some of the things either you did to achieve your success in running your presidency and your previous history.
Well, very much the same as what Ray is saying. Everything should be inclusive. Everybody's got a say. Everybody's got an opinion, and you've got to listen to all opinions. But our challenge, being the leader, is that those opinions are respected from all within the group. In other words, if you don't agree with the opinion, that's immaterial. You just don't agree with the opinion. It's like anything else. If you don't like a TV show, you turn it off. You don't have to write in and complain about it. You just turn the channel over and go to something else. But he's right when it comes to it's the people behind the scenes that make SWAP. And at the moment, we haven't got enough people behind the scenes to make it work as well as we'd like it to work. If there's one, and I was only thinking this morning, if there's one failure within SWAP, it has been that in the past we obviously didn't teach our members to give back, and that's what we're now looking for, is the members that were in SWAP for years and years and years and got so much out of SWAP that they're prepared now to give back, and we find some new blood and they mentor the new blood, and I think that's the aim of this current committee.
Yes.
Can I comment? Can I make one
Yeah.
comment? What I found was a lot of people went from SWAP to Rotary. So sort of SWAP wound down for some reason, and they transferred to Rotary, including Stan Teskey. I could name a whole lot of people that just went to Rotary. And it was a similar thing, but they were geared up to contribute to their communities more.
Interesting. Okay, thanks, gents. I appreciate that. That contribution. And again, congratulations on your achievements, both in SWAP and in business. A couple of quick announcements. We have moved the convention out to, what are the dates there, Harry? July 27th, 28th, 29th?
27, 28, 29, sorry.
29th. We're just in the process of readdressing the marketing collateral on that, the website on that. So you'll have full details on that. The reason we moved it out is numbers weren't trending as quickly and as high as what we wanted, and to protect the integrity of the speakers that we have selected and are speaking for us, we've agreed to move it out to build those numbers. So we'll keep you updated on that. Rhonda,
Is that going to be over 3 days?
It's over 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's the theme of the conference is artificial intelligence in various factors as to how it will impact your life, your business, social, etc. The 3 days is aimed at business people because there's a lot. We've got a great range of speakers. There's a swapper package for swappers. I've got to be careful how I say this because Charlie's one of them. The pensioners of SWAP aren't necessarily interested in the artificial intelligence theme, but they want to come back and be part of the SWAP process and rekindle. So there's a 2-day package for the swappers. It's $8.95 for the business package, $4.95 for the 2 days for the swappers. And there's the gala dinner on the Saturday night. If you only want to attend the gala dinner, it's $95 a head to join the gala dinner. But that information will be available on the website soon, and that information will be emailed out to everybody as well.
Yeah. My only comment is maybe 3 days is too long.
Not so much from a business point of view, because there's a lot being covered from a business perspective.
Yeah.
But that's why we came up with the 2-day package, the Saturday and the Sunday for the swappers, because that's traditionally what they're used to. They get in on the Friday night, social Friday night, drinks, etc. And then wham bam into the meeting as of Saturday morning. So
My,
there's a
my,
couple of options there.
my son-in-law is high up in Microsoft, and he's
Yes.
he's the artificial intelligence section, and he just sent me a video clip.
Yes.
New South Wales is having a pilot program in the school with Chat GPT, and it's going to help students that are having a little bit of trouble learning to help with their education, because it'll give them info, they'll have to answer questions.
Yeah.
But it's being introduced to the New South Wales schools. I think there's about 16 of them getting it. So that's about to happen. It's rolling out. I can send you the video clip and let you see.
So if you couldn't, we can, if that's okay, we can populate that as part of what we're doing. And again,
I'm just going to say, AI has even helped swap. A lot of you out there don't even realise that Greg has been AI generated. He's not real.
Well, I've seen that they can do that now.
Yes.
I've never liked you, Charlie Nicholls. Never.
Matt put into his phone, make me a video clip of such and such an animal in the snow, and GPT chat made it, and this was just made out of thin air. Unbelievable.
Well, it'd be good to see you at the conference, Ray. You can contribute and you can learn.
I'll come for a day or two.
Okay. All right. Rhonda, you're planning a day on the Gold Coast?
Yes. In March. Is it? Oh, the
28th.
This is March, Rhonda.
yes.
28th.
It'll be announced.
Anything to contribute on what you're doing for the day?
Lunch on the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Information to come.
Information to come. Yes. I think
Right,
we said the 24th.
okay.
Did we say Sunday the 24th?
It was Sunday the 24th of March.
Yes.
Thanks for that report, Rhonda. Greatly appreciated. Thank you. Harry, I'm going to put you on the spot because I had someone else allocated in here. I'm going to ask you to introduce Keith, if you could.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It would be my pleasure. Well, Keith is all the way from Texas in the USA. He is I guess, a coach of coaches in a sense, coming in with some very new ideas to help us move forward. And I think it's come at the perfect time for us to understand what's going on in our brain and in our business. And it's with pleasure that I introduce our speaker for today, Coach Keith Shaw. Welcome, Keith.
Welcome, Keith.
Thank you, Harry. Thank you for that amazing introduction. I'm so excited to be here with you today, and I'm looking forward to sharing some information that I believe will have a positive impact on your life and your future. So my name is Coach Keith Shaw, and I have a presentation, but I think I'm just going to talk to you today. I have some topics that I want to talk to you about, and I believe we can, since we have an intimate group here, that we'll be able to just have this conversation. My topic is about leadership and personal development. Now, some might say that's an odd combination, leadership and personal development, two totally different things. I believe the two are attached. If you're a leader and you want to become a great leader, you need personal development to help you improve your leadership skills. If you are not a leader, but you want to become a leader, then you can engage in preparing to become a leader before you get tapped on the shoulder and be given responsibility to care for people. Now, one of the reasons that I chose leadership as a topic that I like to speak about is because as I've gone through my 35-year career, I have observed that the majority of companies in the world struggle when it comes to preparing their leaders. So I want to ask you a question. So do you believe that the people that work for our companies are the most valuable asset. If you believe that that is true, give me a thumbs up, put it in the chat, come off mute and say yes, whatever. But I'd like you to acknowledge or answer that question. Do you agree that our people are our most valuable asset? Yes, I
Yes.
see you.
Yes.
Harry. Okay. All right. Harry says no. That's interesting. I've seen a couple who have said yes and absolutely. I heard some people come off mute and say yes. And the overwhelming majority of people, when asked that question, respond by saying yes. And Harry, at some point, I would like to have a chat with you to understand why you feel different than that. But the majority of people say yes. So my question, my follow-on question then is, if our people are our most valuable asset and the majority of the world agrees with that, then why don't most organizations invest the time and effort to prepare leaders with the skills and equipment and knowledge necessary to care for our leaders who are going to be taking care of our employees? And that's a tough answer. And no one seems to be able to give me a great answer there. But the truth is that 85% of managers say that they have not been properly prepared to lead. They have not been given the skills and the guidance necessary to care for, to lead, and to guide the employees that they're responsible for leading. So to me, this is a problem. This is a global challenge because I've worked for international companies and the international companies experience the same problems. So what I've decided to do was to encourage people and to empower people to take responsibility for their own growth. And I'm going to talk through a process that I have for you so that you'll have a guideline, a roadmap that you can use for your own growth, your own leadership growth, and your own personal development journey. And I will tell you something funny. I have several friends who know that my passion is teaching leadership and personal development. And I was talking to one of my very good friends, and she's just a little older than me. Now, I'm 58 years old, and she's, I think she's 61 or 62 now. And I asked her, I said, hey, would you like to have a coaching session with me? And she said, oh, I'm 62. I'm getting ready to retire. I don't really need coaching or anything. And so that was about a year ago. And then we were talking just recently, and we were talking about, what she was getting ready to do as she was preparing for retirement. And she said, well, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do in retirement. So I'm kind of not sure. And I asked her the question. I said, you remember we had this conversation a year ago and I asked you, did you want to have a coaching session? It's not just about work. It can be about anything that you want to improve in your life. And I explained that to her. And I say that to make the point that it doesn't matter where you are in your life. It doesn't matter if you're 16 years old and you're just trying to figure out what high school you're going to. It doesn't matter if you've been a professional or a manager for 30 years and you feel like you have a strong understanding of leadership. It doesn't matter if you're retired already. Coaching, personal development, and leadership can impact your life for whatever days you have going forward, because the thinking, the process, the practice of taking time to think about what it is that you want from your life is something that most of us fail to do. The only time we think about what we want to do in our lives is when we're in the bathroom. And that's typically the only time we have enough time where nobody's interrupting us. But coaching and personal development causes you to take time periodically so you can stop and think, where am I? Am I happy with where I am? If not, how do I get to where I want to be? And we all need that type of thought process, because whether we're just I'm a grandfather, I just retired, or I retire officially on May the 3rd. And I'm going to sit down and think about, what do I want to do with my time? Because otherwise you're waiting for the world to dictate to you what's going to happen with you. And Sometimes that's okay. I like to give the example of the Kodiak bear, or the bear in Seattle. We have these bears that are the salmon swim upstream, and they just jump into the mouth of the bear, because the bears know where the fish are, so they don't have to go chase for dinner. They just stand in the water with their mouth open. The salmon swim up, and they jump up in the air as they're swimming against the current, and they jump right into the bear's mouth. Now, for some of us, life kind of has happened that way. Some good things have happened to us. We didn't have to go chase anything. Things came to us. Good things happened. For others of us, we had to go put in some work in order for good things to happen. Maybe as many good things as we'd like to happen haven't happened yet. And, partially that could be because we're waiting for a fish to come and jump in our mouth. Wouldn't it be better if you decided what you want, if you got clear about what you want in the next month, next 3 months, next 6 months, next year, next 2 years, and then created a plan of actions and behaviors and activities and skills that you needed to help you move towards whatever it is that you want? Studies show that you will significantly improve your chances of accomplishing whatever that is if you are intentional about it. You got to be focused. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, making sure you're intentional, and instead of waiting for a fish to jump into your mouth. So I want to thank everybody for being here, being part of Global Swap. It's great that you're here. I know that there's several different things you could be doing, several different places you could be, but you're here fellowshipping, you're here networking, and you're here contributing to a community that's going to help to elevate everyone who's involved. So I just want to make sure I recognize you for doing that, because that is something that is very, very important. So I want to tell you just a little bit about me. We did, that was a great introduction, but I wanted to share just a little bit more about me. I am a grandfather. I have 3 grandchildren, and I'm a husband. I'm happily married. I love being a husband. I really love being a grandfather, because when my daughter brings the kids over, I can play with them, give them candy, spoil them, and then send them home. I don't have to worry about it. So I love being a grandfather. But I bring all of that up to let you know that the most important thing about me is that I am just like you. I'm a father. I have 4 grown, beautiful daughters, and family is my purpose. Everything I do is because of my family. And I was able to get very clear on my purpose very young in my life, and that clarity has allowed me to be focused on what I want to accomplish, because I do it for them. And so I always like to make sure people understand that that's important to me, and point out the importance of having an understanding of what your purpose is, what your reason why is, because that reason why is what makes me get up in the morning and go do whatever needs to be done. On those days when I struggle and maybe don't want to go do something, don't want to go to work, don't want to go to the appointment that I have, don't want to go speak at this particular gig, my family is what propels me to do whatever needs to be done. So if you're not clear on that, please make sure that you get clear. So I have a question for you. Now, we've talked about the importance of, not waiting for the fish to jump into your mouth. So let me ask you, this is a rhetorical question. You don't have to answer out loud, but do you have a personal development plan? Do you have personal goals? Is it written? Do you look at it periodically? Do you know if you're winning the race? Are you where you should be? Are you making the progress that you want to make in life? Well, these are just some questions that I like to ask and answer and have answered as I coach people in my practice, and it's something that I find that 90 to 95% of the people that I ask those questions are not able to answer in the affirmative. Very rarely do people have written goals that they look at periodically. Very rarely do people have a personal development plan that they look at periodically to make sure that they're moving in the right direction. And I believe that that is a very key and important part of success. And regardless of where you are in your life's journey, it is something that I believe, each and every one of us should invest the time in doing. All right, so I want to tell you a little story, and this is, once again, kind of more about intentionality. There was this teacher, and it was her birthday, and some of the little kids at her elementary school brought her gifts. So the first child that brought the teacher a gift was a child named Jennifer. Jennifer had a box, and the teacher knew that Jennifer's parents were florists. And Jennifer had this nice big box, and she walked up to Miss Johnson. Miss Johnson was the teacher, and she handed Miss Johnson the box and said, "Happy birthday." And Miss Johnson took the box, and knowing that her parents were florists, she said, she shook the box a little bit. She said, bet, I bet these are flowers." And little Jennifer says, "Yes, they are flowers." And Miss Johnson said, "Thank you so much for the flowers." And as soon as she put the box down, another little child came up, and little Julie walked up, and she had a box as well. And little Julie handed the box to Miss Johnson and said, "Happy birthday, Miss Johnson." And Miss Johnson took the box, and Julie's parents, well, they owned a bakery. And so Miss Johnson said, I bet these are brownies or cake. And little Julie smiled and said, "Yes, it is. How did you guess?" And Miss Johnson said, "Lucky guess. Thank you." She put the box down. Now the third and last child walked up. Little Billy walked up, and he had a box as well. Now, Miss Johnson knew that little Billy's parents, they owned a liquor store. And so little Billy walked up and said, "Happy birthday." And he handed her the box. And she took the box, and she noticed that the box was leaking, like there was fluid leaking from the box. And she said, what is that? And so she took her finger and she rubbed where it was leaking, and she tasted it. And she said, is that wine? And little Billy said, "No." And then she said, And remember, she knows that they own a liquor store. So she rubs it again, gets a little bit more, and she tastes it again, licks her finger, and she said, is it vodka? And little Billy said, "No, it's a puppy." So the moral of the story is, we don't want to guess. We don't want to guess about the future. We want to know what the future is like. And as best as we can, impact the future instead of waiting for the fish to jump into our mouth. And we can take actions to be intentional and deliberate about what we want for our life, and then put the steps in place to make those things happen. Now, what gives me the authority to tell people about this? Because I'm a product of the product. I've lived this, I've gone through it. I grew up in a community that was high crime, low income, and little to no expectations. Now, I can say the perceptions of, neighborhoods in the US are sometimes an overreach. I'm 58 years old. I've never been shot. I've never been arrested. I have been pulled over a whole bunch of times by police, but I try to be squeaky clean. And so nothing's ever happened to me. But I must admit that I have defied the statistics and the odds. The odds were that I should not have accomplished all the things that I've accomplished. Odds are that I never should have become a professor at Baylor University. Truth is, when I graduated from high school, I couldn't get into Baylor University. And so it's definitely bittersweet that at one point I was able to go back to Baylor University and actually teach there. But I am an exception. And one of the reasons for that exception is the intentionality that I'm talking to you about today. So what I'm going to share with you is a process that I call FAR, F-A-R, FAR. If you follow this process, it will take you far. And the F stands for focus. And as I mentioned, a large percentage of the people that I coach, and I'm talking really, really successful and intelligent people, coaching is not cheap. And so sometimes the people who are seeking coaching are still, they're experiencing success, but they know that they can experience more. But one of the things that I find to be very regular is that the majority of them are not clear about what they want. And about 90 to 95%, when I start asking questions about, hey, what do you want for your career and for your life? Rarely are they prepared to answer that question. So since we have such a small group here today, I want to ask you that question. And this is for you. This is not for the group, but I want you to really think about it. Are you clear about what you want for your life? Have you identified where you are today? Have you done an assessment, any type of assessment? There's multiple assessments out there. I can recommend some for you if you want to start the process, but have you done an assessment to see where you are today? Have you gotten clear about where you want to go? And then have you created a list of milestones, activities, or behaviors or skills that are going to move you, propel you in the direction of what it is that you want to accomplish? And that intentionality is something that can make a positive difference in your life. And I say that because it has done that for me. I started as a dishwasher working in a restaurant making $3.35 an hour. And intentionality has helped me to achieve things that I never dreamed I would have been able to achieve. So intentionality, that's if you remember anything that I say to you today, I want you to remember intentionality. I know you're probably on mute, but I want you to just say intentionality right now. Say intentionality. All right. I want that engraved into your brain as you go forward today. So that's the F. The F is for focus, and the focus is about intentionality. So next, we're going to talk about the A. The A is for accountability for your own growth. Now, let me tell you why that is something that's very important. So, when we go to school, there's a plan, there's a roadmap for us until we get through with high school. Some of us choose to go to college. And when we go to college, it's still kind of more up to you versus a roadmap that has very clear steps that you have to take. But the majority of people don't go to college. And so once they've completed whatever required education that they've had to take, then they fail to create their own plan on their own. And so my message here is that we have to take responsibility for our own growth. Our parents take responsibility for it as we are starting, as we're young. But then after we turn 18, we have to take responsibility for it. And even when we're in our 50s, like me, our 60s, we still are responsible for our growth. It is never too late. I graduated with my master's degree in 2018. My bachelor's degree was achieved in 1988. So 30 years later, I completed my master's degree because and in between those two things, there's several certifications that occurred. And that's because now I will admit that at one point after I graduated, I was so sick of school that I said, I don't want to ever step into a classroom again. And after about 5 years of that, I realized that my colleagues were advancing and I was staying where I was. That's because that 5 years, I was living that same year over and over. I wasn't getting better. I was doing the same thing over and over. I was just treading on a wheel, passing time. And I was not advancing my skill. I was not moving towards becoming the best version of myself. And I believe that's the obligation that each and every one of us has. So take accountability, be responsible for your own growth. Don't wait for somebody else to offer you or give you some type of training, or don't wait for your manager, don't wait for your company to bring training to you. You should identify where you are and what you need to do to go to the next level. And here's why. It's not just because of you. I like to always make this point. It's not just because of you. What if you are able to crack the code for things that you struggle with in your life? So I don't know about you, but there's been time in my life I struggle with weight. I'm down, if you knew me 10 years ago, I was 35 pounds heavier. But I learned some things about discipline. I learned some things about dieting that had a positive impact on my life. And now I'm at what I feel is my forever weight. So that's just an example. What if you had something in your life that you struggle with all your life and you figure it out? You figure out at a late stage in your life. Not only is that going to help you, but what if you're able to take that knowledge and share it with your kid, your child, your significant other, your best friend? You can have a positive impact on the world by continuing to learn, taking the wisdom that you're earning, that you're gaining every day, and using that to become the best version of yourself. And as you continue to become a great person, the person that you desire and deserve to be, then you share that knowledge with others. That's legacy. And I'm all about legacy. I want to create a legacy. I want my kids to have a better life than me, not just because I'm going to leave them great things, financially, but also because I'm going to give them knowledge that's going to help them have a better life. And I believe each and every one of us should try to create that legacy for our life and for our family. So that's the A. And next we have the R. Next we have the R. So the R is for reinstate trust, rapport, and build relationships. And so this is very important because people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And so we have to develop behaviors that help people know who we are, like us, and trust us. And so what I've done, and this is more geared towards the leadership side of it, because most organizations have lost the trust of their employees. I was reading a couple of studies the other day about, this is in the US, and it said that, there was a random survey done. About 50% of people trust a stranger that they meet on the street, just somebody to just meet on the street. And 46% of people trust the manager that they work for. I thought, wow, that's powerful. People trust someone that they just met on the street more than they trust the person that they work for. Now, this distrust has been earned, and no doubt, distrust has been earned. Companies have not treated employees as well as they should have. And I think that organizations have failed to give leaders the skills and qualifications they need to be effective leaders. But in today's environment, people are less forgiving of poor leadership. And that's why it's important for each and every one of us now to take it upon ourselves to develop our leadership. Because the truth is that leadership impacts everything. And that's a John Maxwell quote as well. Leadership impacts everything. And each and every one of us should take the initiative to improve our leadership, to elevate our level of leadership. Now, somebody's probably thinking, I'm not a leader. I don't manage any people. Leadership is not about managing people. I also like to give you a definition of leadership that applies to all situations, not just to somebody who manages people. Leadership is an individual who impacts the behavior, character, or development of an individual or things. And if you take that definition, and that is, let me say it again, an individual who is able to impact the behavior, character, or development of individuals or things. So if you take that definition, it doesn't require you to be someone in a position of authority, a manager, a director, an owner, to be a leader. You know, there are leaders in every organization who don't have a title, but they have an impact on the success of the organization. Each and every one of us has the power to impact and influence anything that we're doing. And you know, each and every one of us is the leader of something. You know, you may be the leader of this group, like Greg. You may be the leader of your household. You may be the leader of your church group. You know, but you don't have to have an official title. But leadership is all about wanting to take care of the people around you. It's looking to the front and the back and the side and doing the things to make sure that the people around you are taken care of. And that definition, which is the definition of influence, is exactly what leadership is. And each and every one of us has the ability to have that kind of influence on others. And that kind of influence impacts the success of everything in our lives. So just wanted to point those things out. And so that there are actually 10 behaviors that I like to share with you. Now, we don't have time to do that today. And I think, you know, I want to make sure I stay on track as far as our time. If you can, Greg, if you can tell me how much time I have, I can start my close. Just want to make sure. 2 minutes. All right. Oh, I got 2 to 5 minutes. Looks like I saw 2. All right. So, all right. So as I come to a close, I just want to share my favorite quote. I'm gonna tell a quick story. So my wife and I, we drive, and my wife, I like to drive. My wife likes to tell me how to drive. So it works out pretty good. And so when I'm driving to typically, you know, we'll run to a stoplight. And so I'll stop. I don't like to sit there and wait. And so I look at something, either I'm looking at my phone or I'm looking at the person next to me, and undoubtedly somebody's doing something that gets my attention, whether they're combing their hair, eating food, picking their nose, somebody's doing something that takes my attention. And every once in a while the light changes, and my wife has to touch me on the shoulder to say, hey, baby, the light has changed. And so I, of course, get refocused and move forward. Now, this is a great metaphor for each and every one of us as far as our personal development journey. We all want to do something great. We all want to have a positive impact on the world, but we get distracted by the many things that are available to distract us today, whether it's our cell phones or whether it's the problems that we have at work, or no matter what it is, we all have distractions. So I'm here today to tap you on your shoulder and say, hey, you have the green light. The light is green. You can do whatever you want to do. You just have to start the process of creating a plan and moving towards that. So I want to close with my favorite quote. Gandhi is the person who has my favorite quote. It is, be the change that you want to see in the world. Be the change that you want to see in the world. And I love this quote because I think each and every one of us wants to do something positive. The problem is we don't know exactly how to do it, you know, outwardly. We want to change the world, but we don't know exactly how to do it. We do it outwardly. And the truth is that we should do it inwardly. If we want to change the world, we've got to start with us. If we want to change the world, we got to get the discipline necessary to do the things that need to be done. And once we're able to do that, others will see the success that we have, and they will want to emulate us and the things that we are doing, the success. They want to have the success that we are having. And soon enough, you may be able to influence people in your family. You know, you may be able to influence people in your church. You may be able to influence people at your state, in your country, who knows, maybe even the world. Remember, it starts with you. I believe that leadership and personal development can change the world. Deep in my heart, I believe it to be true. Be the change. You are the spark, because change happens first inside of you. I'm Coach Keith Shaw. Thank you very much.
Keith, it's Greg here. I found your talk this morning extremely inspiring, and I'll share why. Part of my history I touched on with Ray this morning, and I'm going to give Ray some credit as well. Ray was a mentor, and Ray taught me how to build a team by the leader not being an arrogant asshole, but by being behind people and helping them grow. Part of my career, I've been engaged with some large corporate entities to reposition their sales teams. And I've got a reputation for being a hard-nosed boss. But my hard-nosed boss has always been to work behind my team to improve them, improve them individually. And I had this experience once. I employed this guy. He was a Greek gentleman. He was big, massive. He was 6 axe handles across the shoulders, and he used to intimidate me at times. And I used to drive him hard. And he couldn't quite figure out. He started to whinge to the group that, I'm a bit of an arsehole. And then one day he knocked on my office door and he came in and he had a tear in his eye. And he closed the door and I thought, oh, hello, is he going to belt me or what's he going to do to me? But anyway, he said, I just wanted to acknowledge you for what you've done. And I said, well, what have I done? And he said, you've helped me become a better person. And to me, that's what it's all about. Exactly what you're saying is leadership is not standing up at the front, waving the flag, look at me, look at me, look at me. It's getting in the trenches with your troops, with your people, working with them and lifting their spirits. So I just want to acknowledge what you've shared this morning. I'm with you and I'm behind you 100%. So thank you very much for that. Charlie, could I call on you for 2 things? Sorry to wake you up. Could I ask you to thank Keith, and then could I ask you to take us out for the close of meeting? Thanks, Charlie.
I thought you just thanked Keith, but I'm pleased that you're giving me this opportunity because I really enjoyed that, especially at the beginning when Keith said that 85% of leaders are not trained to be leaders, and I automatically thought, coming from the sales industry, I automatically thought of the saying that we have in the sales industry, and that is, if you can't sell, they make you the sales manager.
That is
and
so
if you can't
true.
manage, they make you the president. So I think that's possibly where it all comes from. But I really did enjoy your talk this morning, Keith, and I personally took a lot on board. We're going to close the meeting as we normally do with a mantra. This might frighten you off a little bit. We do it at the end, so otherwise you'd quit at the beginning. And that is
Charlie.
Yes.
Before that, Keith, do you have a website, or how do people connect with you?
LinkedIn.
Thank you. I'll drop that in the chat. I just put a QR code in the chat as well. I'm going to give everybody what I call a personal leadership and personal development toolkit. It's got notes from our talk. It's got some guidelines to create a personal development plan if you'd like that. And it's got my contact information on it as well. So if you take your cell phone and point it at the QR code, it'll take you to that kit, and that kit has all my information. But I'll drop my website in there as well.
Okay.
Excellent. As I was saying, we have a mantra, Keith. At the end of the meeting, we say 3 times, and we use arm actions. I'm alive, I'm well, and I feel great. I'm alive, I'm well, and I feel great. We do this 3 times, and we finish with yes, 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 I'm special. So, well, maybe we should get Keith the leader. Oh, no, I better not. So are we ready, everybody?
Yes.
Are we ready? Let's do some exercises. Are you ready? On the count of 3. 3. I'm alive.
I'm well.
I
feel great.
great.
I'm alive. I'm well.
And I feel great.
I'm alive. I'm well.
And I feel great.
We're special.
Yes. I'm special.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Keith. Thank you all. I look forward to seeing you next month. And thank you all. Have a great month.
Thanks all.
Thank you, everybody.
Enjoy, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great
Bye.
USA today.
Bye.
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 Yeah.
Did everybody get the link out of the chat?